Double Sports Talk worldwide with some news from the world of boxing. So y'all know what time it is. You ain't in a rush to get concussed. Now on a big day of boxing, there's a whole lot of news out there. I didn't have time for it, right? But I'm going to tell you, after checking out the news, the biggest news of the day is this. And we're going to go up to the heavyweights, right? We know that Louis the Real King Kong Ortiz needs an opponent for December the 1st. December the 1st. December the 1st. And the reason why we got to say it 3 times, this is an echo. Because we said, what did we say? If you say it 2 or 3 times, the room is going to get empty. There's nobody going to come in there. Now, December the 1st is Louis the Real King Kong or date to fight on the undercard of the biggest fight of the year, which would be between Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury. A lot of exposure there. Should be pay-per-view. Probably ain't going to be one of the biggest pay-per-views of all time. Deontay Wilder has never been on pay-per-view, right? So we don't know how big it's going to be, but it's going to be the biggest fight of the year. This is the number 2 and 3 or the number 1 and 2, depending on how you see it, because Anthony Joshua is in the mix for those like it or not. Those are the top 3. 2 of the top 3 are fighting. And you, Louis the Real King Kong Ortiz, will be fighting on that undercard. And he's the guy who almost beat Deontay Wilder. So there's a lot of exposure there. So he needed an opponent, and we were thinking DILLIAN WHYTE was going to accept that fight. No, but DILLIAN WHYTE at least said this. Well, I ain't going to fight on December 1st. I got a date in England on the 22nd. Right? And I'm looking for an opponent too. So we can do this on the 22nd. Well, be careful what you wish for. Because now Louis the Real King Kong Ortiz, after thinking it through, because he didn't want to give up that date on December the 1st, he knows it's a lot of exposure. But he says, you know what? I'm on my way to England. We can do this on December the 22nd. Now, that's been hours ago. I haven't heard anything else come from DILLIAN WHYTE. But basically, him and his promoter and manager, because manager Jay Jimenez, he done said he don't want that fight. He's like, why are we talking about DILLIAN WHYTE when we should have come here in the States on December the 1st? That's huge. We on pay-per-view. That's a lot of, it's a lot of atmosphere, exposure, all of that, right? Why does the date have to be in England all of a sudden? Why does it have to? When we have a big date or everything going on, right? So he didn't want to do that. He would have preferred, he's told Louis the Real King Kong Ortiz he does not want that fight. But you know what he says? And this is pertinent for everybody that's in boxing, right? Or especially talking about it in comment sections and stuff. The fighter is the boss at the end of the day. Louis the Real King Kong Ortiz said, I want this. I thought it through. Yes, it was hard to get rid of the December the 1st date, but if this guy wants to fight on December the 22nd, that's his date, then I am going there, and I'm the boss. So Jay Jimenez said, well, I don't want to, then we're going to have to get it done. Now, this is good news for most of the people in boxing, right? Now, if it's not good news to you, then you're probably the same people who it's not good news when Deontay Wilder's team offered $50 million to Anthony Joshua. You probably didn't like that either. You was hoping that the money was wrong. Come about, after 2 months later, your boy Frank Warren talks about BT Sports had something to do with it. Ooh, oh, that's good. Yeah, they had something to do with it. He couldn't fight there. Oh, not man. Really? Talk to Shelly Finkel and Al Heyman, and they never had problems ever getting money. But we're not talking about that. This is good news for a good heavyweight fight, and it's not in 2019. Another fight in December. I think that is awesome. And I think this is further proof of a certain people that you don't need to be talking to and calling out. Wilder, Ortiz, people like that. Errol Spence, another person you don't call out. He'll be there before you finish the sentence. I done told you several times. Mikey Garcia, Terrence Crawford, people like that. A lot of all those other fighters around there, it's always a little something. Hard to do this, hard to do that, right? Like I did a video about one of the Double Trouble brothers, the Charlo brothers, right? Right? Everybody's complaining about Golovkin has to fight Charlo, right? Right? Golovkin's team complaining. Charlo's not complaining. He supposed to have got Canelo, but he ain't getting him. He said, well, if I have to go to Golovkin to get Canelo, I'll do it. Not complaining. Certain fighters are like that. Those are the ones you hone in on because the other ones are more famous, the ones that don't act like this. It's a perfect example. So this is good news, guys, right? And listen, back to Jay Jimenez, his promoter from Louis the Real King Kong Ortiz, by the way. If he can't get DILLIAN WHYTE now, if something happens, which it shouldn't, because we're talking of going to England, like as always, on your date that you want, and fighting you in your backyard. Shouldn't be anything to go wrong. But if that doesn't happen, do you know what they're going to try to do? Go to get Kubrat Pulev, someone else that Dillian White didn't go get, or Jarrell Miller, right? And go to Bulgaria. He's going to try to do that. This old guy, that's so old, right? That guy, he's going to get Pulev if he can. And if he can't get him, then he's going to go to Russia to get Alexander Povetkin. I don't know if old guys do things like that, but that looks like an old guy trying to prove something to me, right? So this is good news. Let's all rejoice. Or will we have a problem with that? Let's see what happens. Doma Sports Talk, worldwide. And I'm up out of here, y'all.